Bridge Christian Fellowship podcast. I am your co-host, Reese Ward, and I have back with us after a handful of weeks, your other co-host, Nick Boone.
Hey, man.
How are you, bro?
Dude, I'm so happy.
How is new baby?
Oh, I love it. I am officially a girl dad. I have 2 girls now, and me and my dog are the only boys in the house. And so when we need to get away, we retreat to the backyard.
Yeah, nice.
Not even true. We love being in that house with all those girls. And I just love my family. I'm so excited that I'm back. Yes, I am so excited to be here. And I've also really valued just that time away to rest and to spend with my family. And
that's so needed.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's a blessing when new baby can turn into almost like pseudo sabbatical a little bit, and you guys can really hunker down. And so I'm glad that you guys got that as a family.
We needed it in multiple ways, and having a baby was an excellent opportunity.
To take some time off.
I was debating opportunity or excuse. No, it's not an excuse. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So
how is Haven doing?
She's amazing. She fell asleep last night at 8:30 and slept until 2:30.
Come on, dude.
So that's 6 hours, and she's only 1 month old.
Let's go.
So thank you, Lord, for that. And
good sleepers.
Yeah. So
Thanks,
we're feeding her and sleeping her well.
I love it. It's good to have you back, brother.
Thanks, man.
It's good to be hosting with you.
Yeah.
So this is episode 7, if you can believe that, of this season. We're in season 1, where we've been talking about discipleship and activating discipleship. And we've been in Hebrews chapter 10, which we'll revisit again today. But before we get there, today's guest is none other than Lilli Eisinger.
Woo.
How are you, Lilli?
I'm doing well, doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, this is fun. There's a number of reasons why I asked for you to come on. Last week we had Cindy Shoemaker and Cindy Newman, ladies who are pivotal in our women's ministry, leaders of our women's ministry. And I was talking with Pastor Brandon, as we had been thinking about the podcast and the past number of weeks, and I realized, dang, bro, our first few guests had been pretty all guys, just all dudes. We need to rectify the situation immediately. We need some ladies on this podcast. And so anyways, we had them, Cindy Shue and Cindy New, on last week, and they were great. Go listen to that episode if you haven't. And I was thinking of all the many amazing and skilled and talented ladies in our body that would be fun to have on the podcast. You were probably one of the very first that came to my mind because one, the three of us have a really cool discipling relationship.
Yeah.
And you are currently in this new season of discipling a number of young people in particular, which I'll ask you more about. But I'm seeing the full picture of discipleship take place in your life, and it's been really fun. And I'm hoping to unpack that a little bit so that people, you're definitely the youngest guest we've had on so far.
Woo.
How old are you?
20.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, you're never supposed to ask a woman's
I
age.
know. I party foul. But I will say, it is unique because we have a growing, population of young people in our body.
Yeah.
And they need to hear people their age too on here, because I think that it is oftentimes the young people that don't see themselves as capable of discipling.
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
only see themselves as capable of being discipled. And so I'm excited to talk about that. So before we get there, I'm just going to revisit our core text for this season, which we're going to be running only a handful more weeks with Grow Campus before we take a little bit of a pause. As we've told people before, we're hoping to jump into some future seasons really soon and adding some cool elements to the podcast. Hopefully there'll be some really cool themes. We've been talking about really cool themes upcoming in the next few seasons in the potentially summer, fall, spring that I think are already we're already dreaming about some really cool stuff. But this has really been an introduction season on just what is the purpose of church and discipleship. And so Hebrews 10, which we've been in this whole season, chapter 10, verse 23 through 25 says, "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. and let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. Motivating one another to love and good works. That's the centerpiece of those 3 verses. It's in verse 24. It's kind of like the thesis statement, if you will, of like what the church should be doing on a regular basis. It says, don't neglect meeting with one another as some people do, but make that commitment, get together regularly. And by the way, this is the thing that you should be doing when you're together. Yeah. It's motivating one another to love and good works. And what's been fun in the last, we just unpack this in a sermon at youth group, like this past Sunday, was like kind of those original words there for love, which is agape. So it's not a phileo love. It's not just love for the family or for one's brothers and sisters, but it's agape love. It's we're stirring up in each other love for all people. And then good works, good deeds. They are deeds that are beautiful to look at. Mm-hmm. They have a sense of attraction to them. And they are in everyday life. That term works or deeds literally has like a relationship to vocation. It's just like whatever your life is occupied by, do it beautifully and let that be the means by which you attract people to Jesus. And so that love for everybody and beautiful deeds in your everyday life, those are the things we're supposed to inspire in one another when we come together. That's what discipleship looks like.
Yeah.
And we do that through our various giftings and talents. And so anyways, that's been the centerpiece of our conversation here. And for you, just to start out, you've been a part of the Bridge for how long, Lilli?
I joined the Bridge when I was in, I want to say 8th grade. So at this point, that would be, 7 or 8 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
7 or 8 years. So that would have been like 2018?
I think so.
Okay. So for you, so I would have been a leader in youth group. You would have been a leader in youth group at the time, Nick.
You both were.
Yeah, and so you were pretty much in youth group from the start, from what I can remember. How did it take you long to get into youth group as a student?
So I joined because a friend invited me, and pretty soon after me and my family started coming to the church, we joined the youth group. And I kind of off and on went because I had a hard time getting connected at first since I didn't really know anybody and I was really shy. But what I started doing is I invited more friends to come with me.
Nice.
To try it. And once I had like 3 or 4 people that were coming with me, I started getting more involved, and that helped me branch out because I kind of created like a little comfort zone for myself.
Yeah, that's good. I wish more new people would do that. I'm not comfortable here, so let me bring more people to church that will help me be comfortable.
It worked for me.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, and then after that, I was pretty consistent, probably like a year right before COVID and then into COVID. And after that, I was coming pretty much every Sunday.
That's awesome. Do you remember what brought your family to the church?
What specifically?
Yeah, just like, was there any, you guys were just looking for a church?
We just had a friend invite us that I went to high school with. And then when we got involved, it flowed from there. Like, when I started getting really serious about going was when I was walking through a lot of hard things. And I just remember that for me, youth group was like my safe place. Mm-hmm. Like that was where I could go and meet with the Lord and meet with community and cry and process. And I was struggling with so much anxiety, and that was the only place that I felt like relief from it. And to have community there as well, and to have brought my friends there, like it was where a lot of the freedom came from, of course, but it flowed out of originally being like, wow, this is different than everywhere else that I'm going to. Like this feels safe. And that was the biggest thing in my anxiety, was feeling safe.
That's awesome. Yeah, that came up in my conversation with Cindy and Cindy last week. Was like, what are we doing in the church if we're not providing a place for people to be vulnerable safely?
Yeah.
And to be seeking after like kind of the everlasting comfort that the Lord offers, but I think people find difficult to find in the church sometimes, just like the church at large.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I love that. I remember having conversations with you both as a leader and then as a youth minister, like about safety and anxiety, and remember you working through a lot of those things. And anyways, it's been a cool journey to watch that.
It's so exciting.
So now, like the role that you serve in now, you graduated from youth group, and we'll go back and talk about that a little bit, but you graduated from youth group. You're now a young adult, you're in college. Kind of, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It is. And now you've actually assumed the role of the youth group's worship director. Like you are the worship director of the youth group. You effectively lead a worship ministry of like 20 kids.
I know.
Which is wild. And leaders.
And very well, I might add.
Yeah, super well. Really, really well. That journey was also like a process of discipleship in and of itself. I want to kind of circle actually in your guys' relationship to begin, because even before, I think it was before we even talked about you taking on that role, that you had approached Nick at one point and said, disciple me. I want to be I want to be a worship leader. Yeah. What motivated that in you to even have that conversation? Like what made you go, this is something I even want to explore, and I need someone to disciple me? Like, what caused you to even see that as a need and a desire?
I would say it was joining the team. I remember they were having some sort of fair after church one Sunday, and I can't remember if I was already on the team. I don't think I was on the main worship team at that point. I was just on the youth worship team. And that had been a big jump for me to join that. And once I had joined that and gotten comfortable, I wasn't even leading on the youth worship team. I was just hanging out, singing every once in a while. Yeah,
the former youth worship director, Noelle, she was like, oh my gosh, this girl named Lilli just joined the team. And you have to hear her sing. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
I love her.
You applied, or did she ask you to join the youth worship team?
I applied.
You applied?
I applied for it, except for I remember I never sang. They just had me on the team.
Nice.
I sat down with Nick and Noelle and maybe Rachel. I'm not sure who else. I think it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just you two. And they were like, hey, so what's your heart for joining the team? And I shared with them. And then I remember like waiting for you guys to ask me to sing for you, and you're like, okay, so we're just gonna have you sing like next week probably. And I was like, what if I can't sing?
Noelle directly picked that up from me, because I am like, see, my predecessor Olivia Dyer, she was like, so good at just the administrative side of things, and I mean as well as the relational side, but she would have you like prepare 3 songs and choose the key and see, and then test your range and see if you can harmonize and and all these things. And I'm just like, what's your heart? Do you love to worship?
Join.
Then all right. And if you don't sound good, we'll just tell them to turn you down in the sound.
Exactly.
Because I'd rather have somebody up there worshiping and showing people that worshiping is good and worshiping is a good thing than somebody who sounds polished, who looks polished, who says the right thing, wears the right thing, acts the part, and then goes home and doesn't have a life that, can parallel that. So
yeah. Well, and I directly picked that up from you.
Yes, that's where I was going, was that I gave it to Noelle. Noelle gave it to you.
Well, so I was going to mention that before I go back to you even like jumping on the team. Yeah. There is this clear like picture of almost like succession.
Yeah.
Where so like coming back to even you, Nick, joining like the church and serving, like you and I, we talked about this before, but you and I joined the youth team, like the volunteer team, the same night.
Same day. Yeah.
Back in 2017. And then joined the staff the same day in 2020, January 1st of 2022. And you had this direct relationship of being pulled in, like Olivia, right? Like she mentored and discipled and then ultimately like selected you as a replacement for her as she went to the next thing God had for her. And as you stepped out, because you led the youth worship team for a while.
Me and Claire.
You and Claire did. I can't even remember if it was 1-to-1 passing it down to Noelle. I don't remember.
Was. Yeah. It was me and Claire, and then Claire felt comfortable to step away at that point. And then I ran it for a couple years through COVID.
Yep.
And then I started talking to V, and V was like, yeah, I mean, if you feel like it's the time, then I support you. And then I was like, I feel like it's Noelle. I feel like Noelle is the one. And then I remember that conversation when we had it with Noelle. She was like, I knew you. We were like, hey, Noelle. She's like, I knew you guys were going to talk to me about this.
Yeah.
And I've been praying about it. And the answer is yes. Like so reluctant, but also so aware of what God was doing that she was like, this is the will of God. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
So it was like that. Yeah, I deal with that.
Well, I mean, so then it went from Noelle to you, and Noelle and I, had that conversation when she was, making her move out to Missouri. And hello, Noelle, if you're listening.
Hi.
I'm going to tell her to listen now. But when we talked about having like you take over, and there's just like this clear pattern of like healthy transition and discipleship, which I think is so important, but that sometimes involves, and this is the reason why I asked you the initial question, sometimes involves calling things out in people.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, because okay, so let's talk about that, because you applied to be, you're like, I want to at least try singing on the worship team, right? And that's understanding those motivations is so important, because I think God wants to build in us a desire to serve.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to be called out to see ourselves as capable as well, and that's happened for you a number of times, right? Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh my goodness. Well, I would just say being like the youth worship leader was me being called out. Like, I remember when she was like, yeah, we're moving. And my first thought was like, oh, who's going to take over? And then I was like, never in my dreams could it ever be me. And then the next day she's like, so it's you. And I was like,
nice.
Oh no, of
just
course it is.
Told.
Yeah. And I remember talking to so many people like, am I capable of this? Am I ready for this? And everyone was like, Lilli, like, we've all seen this coming.
Yeah.
Like, of course, this is your time. And I think that has carried into every aspect of me being worship leader. It's me going to people and being like, am I ready? Or even going to God, right? God, am I ready for this? And him being like, you feeling not ready is the exact reason why you're ready. Like, I'm calling you out of your comfort zone. And that was like when I led my set on the recent retreat. Yep. I called Nick and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, blah, blah, blah. And that was what you said to me. He was like, the fact that you're saying this to me makes me think you are exactly where God wants you to be, because you're going to have to go out of your comfort zone to do it. And then when I led my first set Sunday morning when Nick wasn't there, it was like, oh, I don't feel ready for this at all. I don't know if I can do this. And it just has consistently been God calling me out of my comfort zone before I feel ready, and then meeting me there. And it's just been beautiful. It's been beautiful. But there's also another side of that, I would say, because when I joined the Sunday morning worship team, I mean, I guess it would kind of be in that as well, because I think I asked you, like, am I allowed? Like, am I able to do this? And you were like, what?
Able?
Yeah,
allowed?
like, what does that mean?
Yeah. No compute.
There's a form right there. Just fill it out. Yeah. And so I filled it out, and then...
Fill it out. Leave a paper trail. But you're on the team, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
You're already here.
You're scheduled next week. What are you doing?
Well, and then I, like, am on the team. And then when I went to you and was like, I think I'm ready to be a leader, you were like, yeah. I was just waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. And I knew you did.
And so, look, let me just say, in your whole, like, in this whole testimony process, I'm literally thinking, like, okay, you know, that whole fight or flight saying, there needs to be a Christian one. And I think it's like, you're either race or you embrace. Ooh. And like, if there was one word that I could use to describe your journey through this, it has been that every time there's been like a big obstacle, your knee-jerk reaction, your gut response is embrace. And you go, I mean, like, when you found out you were taking over youth worship, I just saw you, all right, here's a schedule, here's it, and you just locked in so fast in ways that I haven't seen leaders do in, like, my experience. Like, I've seen some, but like not all. Most leaders are like, they'll kind of start and they'll drag their feet, and they'll kind of get into the groove of things, and things always seem to happen on time, right? Because it's the Lord. But dude, you have just embraced what the Lord puts in front of you. It's like, here's your plate, and you're like, time to eat. Like, you know what I mean? Every time I show up to the youth retreat that you just spoke of, and you were visibly shaken, and not one time did it come out of your mouth, I can't do this, or I'm not doing this. You were like, I am so overwhelmed. This was your language. I'm overwhelmed. I don't understand. I don't think I'm ready. But never once did you say, I'm out.
Yeah.
And like, I've been in the place where I've said like, I mean, that's kind of how I received the torch from Olivia. Like a week prior, I talked to her and I was like, I think I'm out. And she was like, actually, you're up. And I was like, I thought I was out. I hadn't even played yet. I'm talking about this sports analogy. I thought I was out. I was ruling myself out, putting myself on the bench before I had even gone up, to do the thing the Lord wanted me to do. Yeah. So I just wanted to call that out. And you fight or flight, race or embrace. You're an embracer. That's just what you do. That is what the Lord has empowered you to do.
That's good.
Well, I can say a lot of that has been seeing you guys do that and you guys encouraging that in me, which goes back to discipleship.
Yep.
The whole purpose of this has been me. I mean, both of you guys have been like disciplers in different points of my life. You still are now, but there have been specific seasons where God has had both of you as like specific disciplers, as well as Noel and plenty of other people.
Yeah.
But I look back on that as in those moments when I was like, oh, am I allowed this? Am I sure? I don't know. And I had that hesitation of like, I kind of want to run, but like, I kind of want to embrace this as my dream. I'm not certain. And you guys like speaking life, like you saying, Lilli, you already have this. Or like with my anxiety, where Reese, you were a lot of why I was able to lay that at God's feet, where you were like, Lilli, you already have freedom accessible to you. So it was yes, encouragement, but it was also you guys calling out what God already did in my life.
Yep.
And when it's someone who you look up to saying that, and someone who knows you, like that's what a mentor should be.
Yep.
Someone who knows you and someone who you respect. And when they're the one calling out the truth in you, then you know you can trust it. Like, okay, I trust you as a person. I trust your knowledge of me. And so as you're calling out the truth in my heart, I can also trust that. And then that like helps in those moments of uncertainty. And you're able to say, okay, I don't know if I'm quite ready, but this person says I am. I trust them. I trust God's calling. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
And that has helped me. I mean, like you just saying, oh, Lilli, you're the worship director. Like blows my mind because that was my dream, but I never thought I could do it.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's from that discipleship poured into me, really.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with somebody today where we talked about this concept of like, if there's a bridge that exists between two people in relationship, whatever.
It is the Bridge Christian Fellowship.
Yeah, thank you. I know. It's a really... like
if there's a bridge,
analogy.
It is the Bridge Christian Fellowship.
Yeah. If you can think like in that visual, right, then whatever you are sending across, encouragement, feedback, like whatever it is, that bridge of relationship has to be strong enough to carry the weight of whatever it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
And so, and I think I think we think of that a lot of the times in terms of like critical or negative feedback, but I think it's true of like calling out like people's like potential and destiny and all those kinds of things. Like, hey, we need to forge in the body of Christ strong enough relationships where the bridges that we build to one another are strong enough to carry the I see potential in you, and you be able to hear that from me and trust that that's truth and not me just like kind of blowing smoke.
Wow, yeah.
And I think that's what the church lacks a lot of the time is church is such a, one of our elders, Scott Lewis, I was just having a conversation with him today where he said, I know a lot of people think about like when they're going to a church, is it a place that I could see myself growing in? Is it a place that I can see myself feeling comfortable? Is it a place? And those aren't like bad things to consider, but him and his wife, Denise, when they were thinking about finding churches to belong to, they were like, we always kind of approached going to each of these churches as, here are our gifting and talents. Would they be useful here? Like that was like their question. And then from that place of plugging in, is church a place where we kind of like sneak in and sneak out, and we kind of get what we get on Sunday morning, or we get what we get on Wednesday night? Or is it a place where we press into forging deep and meaningful relationships that allow for us to speak the kind of encouragement that Hebrews talks about? Yeah. Like motivating one another to love and good works, so that when one person speaks, the other person can respond. Wow. And we can do that in a reciprocal way. Like not only do I get to speak into your life and call that out? But you can do that in mine, and you can do that in hers, and she can do that in yours, right? So I think that that's been what I think has been a cool picture, like in your discipleship journey, is that I've seen both of those things happen. Like I'm seeing you do it with the youth that you lead and the leaders that you lead as well. You have like 4 leaders that operate within your ministry and look up and listen to you, and they watch you push and press yourself the way that you've seen me and Nick do it. Like they watch you be a worship leader who is an incredible vocalist. I'm just going to go ahead and shout that out. You have an amazing voice, and I love following it into worship. But you're like challenging yourself to learn an instrument. Like I literally like came in one Sunday afternoon, you're just like practicing guitar, you know, because you're like, I want to learn an instrument. I want to learn to lead from an instrument. And your students see you do that, you know. But also you like, and I want to circle this all the way back. Like you identified something in you that was a desire of your heart that I think the Lord put there.
Yeah.
To lead worship in music and song. And you walked on that as well, because you approached Nick. I want to go back to that conversation.
Yeah.
You approached Nick and said, "Can you disciple me?"
Yeah.
Like I still want to understand, like what even made you think I need to ask that question? I need to ask that question. I need someone to disciple me. Like what made you see the value of that?
I would say a lot of the reason why I felt like I could pursue worship was because of my trust in Nick, my trust in you guys.
Yep.
And so when I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for this, I knew I would only be able to do it if I had someone mentoring me in that way. And so because I had that trust of relationship, I think that was what God built. It was a trust in myself, but it was also a trust in relationship to say, okay, I've been on this team. I know like if I'm confused or a bit overwhelmed, like Nick will listen to me. Nick will work with me where I'm at. Nick will encourage and call life out of me and also correct me, but in a gentle and loving way. And so if I want to pursue doing even more, I also trusted that if you didn't think it was right for me, you would tell me that. So it's also a way of like, or do you see this in me as well? And so because I had that trust, I knew if I want to pursue this dream, I trust his relationship with me, and I trust his relationship with God and him as a leader. And so I want to also be like you in that way. Like I trusted your style of leadership, and I knew I don't think I knew in that moment. I've learned I have my own style, and that's a beautiful thing too. But there are also aspects of my style that I've picked up from you because I trusted the way you did things, and I wanted to learn more of that. And so I think
that's good.
Yeah, I think that's an important.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
I'm hearing, and I think this is so important and so lost on Western believers, that good discipleship starts with good followership.
Yeah,
I think it is lost because, and I get it, like it's hard, but like just the idea that the natural response would be, I trust if I go seek out discipleship for this desire.
Yeah.
That the person that I have kind of been following, what they say, will have some weight.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, you're pursuing the Lord.
Yeah.
And the Lord is the ultimate leader and voice, and you know, you're going to take, hopefully, and we would encourage anybody listening to this podcast that we're not asking for people to blindly follow their earthly leaders. We're asking them to be submitted to one another out of reverence for Christ. Yeah. Thank you, Ephesians. And then to take what encouragement, truth, and you know, like life that we're speaking over each other and apply that to the Word, but seek out one another's counsel, which I think we don't really do all that often. Like I constantly, you know, have been trying to remind myself, even like in this active role of being like a youth minister, that I will only be as effective as a leader of the students that the Lord has entrusted to me as I am submitted as a follower to Brandon.
Yeah.
Like implicitly. Like, of course, we can have conversations about things I may not understand or disagree with. And we can, you know, I can seek after like wisdom and understanding in that way. Yeah. But ultimately, like the Lord has placed him as a figure of influence in my life. And I want to take that seriously. If he's leading in a place that doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to follow and just see where it goes, you know, because my capacity to do that influences my capacity to lead other people and them do that with me. And I just think that it's like, it might feel like a duh, you know, to you, but the fact that you did that and was like, I want to be discipled because I have this desire that I want to see cultivated to be a worship leader. I want to be a worship leader. I'm going to find the people that are influences in my life and I'm going to follow them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take seriously the be like me, like I am like Christ model that Paul kind of sets up, where he's confident in saying, follow me and you'll be like Christ if you follow me. Because he was confident in his followership of Christ and the people that discipled him, right? Yeah. So that's really, really good.
Can I also say too, man, it's like, it was kind of cool because it wasn't that you weren't a part of the worship team, right? You were on the worship team. Yeah. It wasn't that you hadn't led a song before. You were leading songs. Like I was asking of you, like, hey, can you sing this chorus on this song? Or hey, can you lead this song while I'm here and I can support you and I can direct the band or whatever, and you can just sing, but lead the song. And so all of this was happening. And then, like, I don't know, however much time had passed. And then after all that, you came up to me and you were like, okay, I want you to disciple me into being a worship leader. And I was like, I thought I already was.
Nice.
Not as a slight.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was just cool that it just happened so naturally. Right.
Yeah.
It was like no one signed the line and said, all right, time to be a disciple or time to disciple. Yeah. It was just like, I think your faith step in that was asking me, right? Yeah. That was your verbal committing to the Lord and to me, like, hey, this is something that I know God is moving in my life in. But without that, I think you still would have been discipled. Right. I think you still would have been, I think you would have ended up right where you are with the same confidence you have, because that's the way the Lord orchestrated it, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that too, is it was, again, just your like need to embrace that, which is just so cool.
Yeah, to your point, like ultimately what the effective discipleship looks like is come alongside and do life with me.
Yeah.
And see how I'm doing it and learn from it. And
And also, by the way, I did not know that I was discipling you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think about it like that. But then when you asked, it was like all these things just fell right in line. And I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of what we're doing. Like, like that's how it's been. Yeah. So I just thought that was super cool as a part of your story on this.
And I'm hoping that I think the thing that people listening take away is that there's two places of initiative that are happening in this discipleship process that people in the body should be inspired to walk in. Mm-hmm. And that is, as someone who may want to be seeking out discipleship, don't wait for someone to find you, to seek it out. Yeah. Find someone that you look up to in their life and ask for it. Yeah. Seek it out. Put yourself in their life. Put yourself out there. I know that's a risky thing to do. I think that there's a culture that we've built here in our church where I think that kind of thing is well received.
Yeah.
I would hope that would be the case in churches abroad, where if someone were to ask, disciple me, the natural response would be like, of course. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then to the people who have been walking a mature life of faith, who maybe they've had someone discipling them for a long time and they are an active discipler, be someone who calls out what you see in the people that you are leading and discipling. All three of us are beneficiaries of that kind of activity and initiative.
We are. Yeah.
You are the beneficiary of Olivia looking at you and saying, I see you as a worship leader. Before you saw yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm the beneficiary of Steve Vitsinus looking at me and saying, I see you as a youth minister. Before I saw it in myself. You were the beneficiary of Noel looking at you and saying, I see you as a worship leader. Before you saw it in yourself.
And we all thought the path led somewhere else. Like our life choices were leading us somewhere else.
Exactly.
You were being led out of state. I was being like not led to be on staff at a church. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there was elements of me recognizing that I could be, but it was like, if it happens, but it was not that, and then same with you. It was like, but then ultimately, like you said, the calling of that.
Yeah. When someone speaks that in your life, like, I think sometimes people are afraid to be like, I don't want to be the reason why their life trajectory gets altered. And it's like, why not?
Yeah.
If you see in them the gifting and the calling, like, why would you not potentially have that kind of influence in someone's life to walk in that potential, or they may walk away from it if they don't hear it from somebody or not see it in themselves. It may not look exactly how you think it does, but the idea that all three of us have benefited from someone saying, I see this in you, when we didn't even really see it in ourselves. And then we were like, wow, we prayed about it and responded to it. And now it's where we're at. We're in this active place of like still being discipled and discipling others. I think that's the ultimate. It's what Jesus did.
It's the message of the gospel.
I just keep hearing him say, follow me.
Yes, come follow me and I will make you. Fishers of men. That is essentially what all three of us have had people do in our life.
Yeah.
Come follow me.
Follow me.
And I will make you a great worship leader.
V called, he was the one that roped me and you both into this church. But then, like, it was because he pulled me in that then I was able to be under Olivia. Yeah. And I mean, I came to this church and I couldn't even sing a harmony.
It's incredible.
Now I
couldn't either. I was like,
could not hear a harmony to save my life. And Olivia was like, you'll figure it out. And then she coached me, discipled me. It's just wild. I mean, even just sitting here reflecting with you, Lily, like just to see to me and Claire, and then to me to Noelle, and Noelle to you, and then I'm just excited to see, and like also me, I didn't even realize how much of an impact that like my just obedience was having.
It's good.
Just hearing your story. So I hope someone listening can hear that too and understand, like, you're in a place right now where you're being obedient. You may not see what's going on, but then you never know. You never know. And you may never know. But I'm fortunate that I got to hear your story. Yeah. And I mean, and Noelle has said the same thing to me.
That was going to be my last question before we wrap up. Noelle was the worship director before you for the youth and moved away. What was that transition process like? Because I think it was a good picture of discipleship too. For you, how did she kind of walk you through handing that role off to you?
So when I first joined the team, since I auditioned with Nick, it was right around the time that you were giving the leadership role to Noelle. So I was shocked because I thought I was just joining a team with you. And then you're like, by the way, next week Noelle starts. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't even know her.
I totally forgot about that. I brought you on and then was like, peace out.
You're like, bye. I was like, oh, shoot. Okay.
Nice.
But it was perfect.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It was perfect. And because
it was supposed to happen that way.
Oh, it was. Because the minute.
And there's Noelle, listen to this podcast. There is no one I would have trusted with other than you, Lilli's worship leading capability. I literally trusted you to do that.
Yeah. She did great.
And she did great. But anyway.
Great. But I think the beauty of it was how similar we are in worship and how similar our stories were. Mm-hmm. And when she passed the torch on to me and we met, I would say 4 to 5 times. Where the first time she was like, hey, I'm kind of wanting to give this to you. And before that, we already had an established relationship, right? She was there on all my first sets and I would call her and share my heart with her. And I would say it takes vulnerability on both sides. It took her being vulnerable with me being vulnerable with her, sharing this is how I'm feeling about what's going on in worship now and all these things. And so we had that relationship. Mm-hmm. So then when she passed it on to me, right, like we said, I'm able to trust her words. And also when I came to her and was like, I really want to do this, but I don't have the musical skills, right? Which your first thing was you had the musical skills and you weren't sure about singing, but she had started off with just singing and kind of playing piano, but not having any other technical skills. And so she was able to look at me from experience and say, hey, me too. Yeah. But God still used me. And she was able to say, I didn't think I could do it either when Nick asked me, but I said yes, and God still used me. And I was really scared, but my confidence has grown, and I this is my life, and I love it. And that shared testimony brought me so much peace in saying yes, and so much joy to look at someone who'd gone before me. And I think God can use people who have different testimonies for sure. Yeah. He has many times. But in that moment, that was in a way that I don't think you could have discipled me, even though you've discipled me in so many ways. You both have. The fact that we are such similar testimonies in that respect,
the Lord,
100%,
was all the Lord.
100%.
And it made it so much simpler and so much easier. And I've already seen that in my own leadership style. The season that we're in with the youth is a lot of these kids coming to me and saying, like, I really want to join, but I'm kind of scared. I have some kids who are like, oh, I'm all here for it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of the season I'm in, where I'm in the leadership position, but God has taught me a lot of relying on people around me who know better about me in other areas. So like I'm relying on Lennon a lot. I rely on Evelyn. I rely on Jackson, and they all have different styles. And so when I see a kid, I get to know the child, and then I realize like, okay, you fit this leader, like this leader and you have that good relationship connection. I can see Lennon in you. I can see Evelyn in you. And then they're able to connect in that way. And the students that I've been able to connect with the most are the ones who are scared and the ones who come up there. Like you saw me with the youth kid when I had a girl on the team and she was nervous, and she was looking at me and she's like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm overwhelmed. And I was able to look at her and say, you know what? I've been there. I was there like 3 weeks ago. and look.
And I'm just now realizing that my strength is discipling lazy people, because Noelle discipled you, and I just get to lead in front of you and watch you, just pick up the things but I mean, my chosen disciples are very disciple-y, if you know what I mean. They are. Hey guys, if this applies to you, then I mean, just get your act right, But
take it as a sign.
The Lord has given you the capacity to tarry as others have tarried with you.
Yes,
they know my heart, and they know they know who I'm talking about. I would never name them by name, but like, dude, it's so funny because you know why? Because that was me. Hello, it's because I saw myself in them.
Yeah,
and that is a beautiful way to disciple, in my opinion.
That's
is good to be able to identify with somebody like that. Is just so
well, and that's what I realized. A lot of the calling God had placed on my life to be a worship leader, the reason why I didn't need to know how to play guitar super well or even know anything about percussion, the fact that drums and percussion were, I knew none of those.
You could be the every worship leader that's like, hey drummer, can you give me the boom boom boom?
You're really good at that.
Yeah,
but awesome. I didn't need to know that a lot of God's calling was my ability to see people, like the potential in them, and read people well and notice how people work and pick up on little clues of the way that their face was shifting or the way they were responding emotionally. And that's something God's grown in me since I was like a child.
Yeah.
And I've realized recently, like, that's the calling you have over my life as a worship leader. You knew I would be able to do that and orchestrate in that way. And every worship leader is different. And I think when I started embracing the calling God had on my life specifically, it became so much easier because it didn't have to look like how somebody else did it. Sure, it looked similar because I learned from other people, but it was my own style. And a lot of it was also embracing, like, being able to delegate, like, hey, I don't know how to do this and I would like to learn from you, but also you can do that better than me. Let me just give that to you because God's called you to that and not me. Good. I don't have to fake like I know what I'm doing to prove I've been called to this, because I know I have. God spoke that, and the people around me know it too.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I love that, like, Noelle would even... I loved your guys' transition, particularly because even after she moved, you guys would do like phone calls and stuff.
Yes.
And it's like definitely like a, hey, I'm throwing you in, but I'm also here with you.
Yes.
It's a process, and it's such a Jesus model too. And we could keep talking. This is the longest podcast we've done.
We're just starting.
That's exactly how I handed it over to her too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She took over, and I was like, hey, I'm just right across the parking lot. Like,
yeah,
we're here, you know?
Because mentorship is like a relationship. It's not just, hey, here's some information, get on with your life. Like,
peace out.
when we had that transition, I found a friend in her. Like she was already a friend, but I was like,
that's good.
I was crying when she was leaving, even though we had only really consistently met up like 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
But it's because I found a friend in her. I found
so good.
Relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
And all together, you got a friend. And we're demonetized. Wait. We have to get monetized before we get demonetized. We're good.
Lilli, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Thanks. This is the longest one yet. That's a clean 45 minutes, people. Nice job.
Breaking records.
Thanks for listening, as always, guys. And I'm again not telling you who's on next week. You just gotta tune in to find out. In the meantime, this has been the Bridge Christian Fellowship Podcast. Peace out. I will say